Hello, everybody. Welcome to our little island in the sun that we call 9 Pitcheroonies. I've got him. We were all having a little Weezer sing-along before off camera. And Andrew did a little cheeky smile when I did that there. But yes, it's time. Now let's get serious now. It's time for 9 pitches. I have to give credit to the wonderful Tom Campbell for being the brainchild of this idea, Tom.
Hey, you got your big cheese. I got my hash brown.
What are we talking about today?
Today, with mere days to go until fates are decided forever, or until the next one, we're going to do 9 pitches for the WWE Draft. This can be simple cases of where you think certain stars will land and what they'll do. They could be maybe bigger ideas for how a roster will evolve post-draft.
Yes, we've kept it quite broad or quite loose, but it's all going to be in some way related to the impending draft.
Yeah.
Which I think at the time of recording is about to happen on Friday/Monday. Yeah.
Yes.
Andrew is here as well.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm just happy about our Weezer sesh early on.
He is coming through.
I'm trying to, but it looks like pubes.
No.
I'm trying to
bypass that
my
stage.
hardest.
It's looking good.
It's looking strong.
Yeah, it's looking good.
It's looking like summit.
More than I could achieve, I believe. No. I don't. I
You
think
look
it's
very
all right.
cleanly fresh.
I had a
shaven
shave
today.
last night.
You look very nice.
My skin feels dry post-shave.
No, it looks good. It looks good.
I always feel like it changes. I look a bit more round-faced. I look like a cherub boy, and I don't
like a cherub boy.
So we'll just crack on, shall we?
Pitches or something.
If you've never seen a pitches video before, we're gonna go around in a circle. Andrew, then Tom, then myself. Andrew, then Tom, then myself. Andrew, then Tom, then myself, and we'll be left with 9 wonderful pitches relating to the WWE Draft. But remember that golden rule. It's not what we think's going to happen.
It's what we want to happen.
He never plays ball. Andrew,
Yep.
he never plays ball, that Tom Campbell.
Wait
I'm
for
going to
it.
start throwing to you and he's going to interrupt me and go, it's what we want. I'm just so cross already.
Join us.
Oh.
Is that the right one?
He's got you.
Now at the end, he's going to do the...
He is.
How dare you?
Unpredictable.
I'm worried he's going to do it at some point now. I just don't know when.
What an anxiety
Yeah, it's
laden
horrible.
experience. This
It's
has
like
suddenly become
it's
for
like
you.
when my government sent alarm didn't go off on my phone the other day.
You weren't one of the chosen ones.
No, I'm on 3. So
Yeah.
And now you're on fire.
Andrew,
Yes.
your first pitch, please.
Well, I mean, things were a little bit unpredictable last night in terms of Triple H. He announced this new World Heavyweight Championship title belt, right? So I wrote my pitches, obviously, as I'm sure we all did, sort of before this announcement.
Yes.
So there's little bits and pieces, but we can reference it. We can, on a whim, we can divert things on the fly, and we'll see what's going on.
Okay.
Right? So it's literally the simplest pitch in the world to begin with.
Right.
The brand split needs to be quite literally a definitive brand split. No more going between hither and thither, doing whatever you so desire. No, you will stay on your brand. Stay there forever, or else I will smack you. All right? I don't know what's wrong with me today. I've had a coffee and some iced tea.
If someone leaves like the setting for Raw and maybe gets on a bus towards SmackDown, are you waiting there?
I'm waiting there, all
Back
right.
in your box.
With a giant hand.
with a broom. Oh, yeah.
Get back in.
Yeah.
Get back on that bus. So, whilst it's most certainly been beneficial for the TV networks to have WWE's top stars cross between brands frequently over the last few years, with Triple H stepping up to the plate as head of creative and re-signing several re-signing several talents once again, it feels imperative to create space for these wrestlers to help them build and grow into more meaningful roles. So with WWE's top stars floating between brands and popping up on our screens multiple times a week, it feels as though it leaves less television time for Triple H's re-signings to really get over and break through with the fans as well. There's been like varying degrees of crowd reaction for certain people, but nothing to me at least that signal that the fans are particularly behind any specific one of these superstars so far. And that's why I think a focused and definitive brand split could work wonders with WWE's now strong roster of characters. I'm thinking like sort of back to the old days of the SmackDown 6, where you had like, you know, Raw was the definitive brand, the big brand for a lot of people at that time. I think within WWE it was seen as the top brand, but the SmackDown 6, they made you want to go and watch that brand.
It helped each show have an identity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It certainly did. And that period there helped create some of the biggest and most beloved stars in the industry that are still going strong to this day. And then, so this is a little bit that was written sort of before the announcement of the new title belt. I said this, then in turn, it can help create those future stars and have them seem like genuine threats to Roman Reigns and the Undisputed Tag Team Champions, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I believe that Undisputed Champions shouldn't be stripped of their titles, as I said, this was before, but rather defend each respective title on its own brand. Therefore, then, you can have contained stories for both SmackDown and Raw and build separate stars in the process. Now, at that point in time, I was like, for the TV networks, there's still the benefit of having some of the biggest stars in the company, the Undisputed Champions, on both brands for perhaps a number of months following the split. But at the same time, WWE then have the opportunity to build new stars and challengers to hit similar levels of popularity, who can then step into the roles and become, in theory, the next biggest things. And again, as I wrote here, now this was written before we had the announcement from, as of this time of recording, last night's Raw, in which we were introduced to the new World Heavyweight Championship design and the fact that Roman Reigns will only be drafted to one specific brand. This draft, though, is shaping up to be a great way that new stars can have meaningful storylines and build up, especially since now there's a vacant world title up for grabs and on one of the brands, depending on where Roman lands. So now, like, basically, what I was saying, we need to build new stars, I think, in this new era, especially as we've got so many re-signings from this Triple H era. And now I think with the inclusion of this World Heavyweight Championship, I think it's the perfect time to do so. We can have a tournament to crown a new champion. We can have, like, your Johnny Garganos go up against your Seth Rollins and things like that. They've had a little bit of back and forth in the Elimination Chamber as well, which is really cool. So there's still things to grab onto that you can then go forward. But it just feels like this brand split needs to be something that can help push these talent forward, not only on the men's side, but on the women's side too. I think especially on the women's side at this point, there's a lot of re-signings and a lot of people we've been really excited to see back on our TV not really do anything of value at all. And it's such a shame to see because it's a strong women's roster as well, but just nobody's having the chance to shine, I don't think. Because a lot of these bigger factions and everything are crossing between brands and doing this, that, and the other. And then that usually takes up a lot of the storyline of the evenings of the shows.
Yes.
Your Judgment Days and your Bloodlines and this, that, and the other. So
there's no time for Tegan Knox to shine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, things just seem to get cut, which is such a shame. And so, that's why a definitive brand split, it has to be definitive. It's very simple, but please no more floating between hither, thither, and every whither.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
I'm glad that your pitch is concerned about WWE becoming undone, the sweater song.
Oh.
It's a yes from me.
Thank you.
It's a simple pitch, but complex where it needs to be. I agree with the idea that it needs to be a focused brand split, so I'm going to give it a yes. Having said that, I would say that I think whilst Roman has 2 belts, he should be on both shows. It feels, and I said this in a video that was published the other day, that might get really out of date very quick, but I genuinely believe that the WWE World Heavyweight title feels like a consolation prize.
Yeah.
Whilst
Roman Reigns is still like the dominant force in wrestling.
Yo, I've got to agree with my dog, Tom Campbell, on that one.
No, I agree. No, I completely
Silly
agree.
Billy
I don't see what they
dog.
do. What do they do now then that Roman's got? Obviously, still the 2 titles. Do they consolidate that into one? I mean, they often.
I was saying to Tom, what now becomes of the legacy of their longest belt, the Bruno belt?
The Bruno.
I was thinking too. What happens?
Do we not talk about Bruno?
It's just part of.
If it's still
My
called.
favorite Weezer song. Is that legacy of that belt now just buried beneath the universe?
That's what and that's it. Does it now, because obviously the Universal Championship is the championship that Roman's had for the longest time. That is what I feel like the reign is very much
I
focused
see him as
on.
more a Universal champion than a WWE.
So what happens then if the WWE title is gone?
Well, it's just the Universal.
Then, Cody can never finish the story then, can he?
Just
the
amalgamated.
story always goes on, as Triple H
It
told
always goes on. It's a never-ending story.
Hash pipe, hash pipe, hash pipe. Made it a Weezer song. Put hash
Surf
pipe.
Wax America.
Yeah, it's a yes from me.
It's a yes from me as well.
There's lots of things coming out of this, I think, with the announcement of this new title, where...
I was going to keep doing that until you ended because I was about to go, Tom, your next pitch.
Oh, okay, sorry. There's a lot of things now coming out of this episode of Raw, I feel like, and perhaps the draft as well when we get to know where everybody is. I feel like it poses more questions than answers at the moment, which is a good thing.
Which gives us more content.
And it certainly does.
Tom, Tom, your first pitch, please.
Right, so Andrew, my wonderful colleague to my left, and everybody's left, has gone for a more rounded overview.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've gone for the plight of one particular.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hello.
And to do so, I'm bringing back an old style draft from the early noughties.
Yes.
We're doing the draft lottery.
Yes.
Forget this tactical decisions. I want to press the shuffle button on the playlist.
Okay.
Second night of the WWE Draft, Raw and SmackDown have all but decided on their rosters. There's a few names still left to discover their fate. Adam Pearce takes the podium and hits the draft lottery randomizer. Baron Corbin has been drafted to NXT UK.
Oh, hang on.
What?
Here's the thing. Nobody's been
no
drafted to NXT UK. So everyone goes, huh? Even Baron Corbin's like, what? What do you mean? There's confusion all around. So Baron has a chat with Adam and goes, Adam, what was that? And Adam goes, well, apologies. There's been a glitch in our system. It only happened on your name, weirdly. There's no one else. NXT UK hasn't come up at any point tonight. We can only apologise. However, the draft must be adhered to. So here's your plane tickets. One-way flight to London Heathrow. He gets a taxi to the BT Sports Studio, still set up for NXT UK. Very dusty though. So he goes in there. He's the only one in there. He dusts everything, sweeps the ring, clears the floors, gets the lighting rig set up. And every week it's Baron Corbin and NXT UK. He interviews himself backstage. He competes against inanimate objects. He while shouting out commentary as well and building to future matches. It takes a twist about 5 or 6 weeks in when Baron Corbin is in his 2 out of 3 falls match against the kitchen mop, when there's a banging on the door, a door at the back of the room. And finally, the door comes crashing off its hinges. It's Ashton Smith with his UK tag team title going, oh, I'm finally out. Anyway, what's happening today? What are we doing? And he doesn't know what's happened. So Baron Corbin has to politely explain to him, everyone, it's just me. It's just you. Like, where's everyone else?
I think this could be genuinely the thing that revives the UK wrestling scene because it's tailored exactly to the British sense of humour because it's rubbish but in a funny way. Baron Corbin going slowly mad, wrestling buckets and mops. It's brilliant.
That's it. That's the
Does
pitch.
he gradually kind of lose his grasp on reality?
Well, that's it, because obviously Ashton Smith's there.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's fighting away with, and so therefore he starts feuding with Ashton Smith. They start hanging out together at night, you know, late night, just sort of drinking, looking over the kingdom they're creating. And then one day, like
for Godot, this.
then one day, Baron Corbin's just like scrolling through his phone, and he notices, oh, what's this? Oh, Ashton Smith's wrestling for ICW, but he stood right next to. He's gone.
Oh my
Ashton
God.
Smith was a figment of Baron Corbin's imagination.
Wilson!
Constructed to keep him sane.
That is quality.
He is the Wilson
That's
of
amazing.
NXT UK.
Oh my God.
So that's the plight of Baron Corbin. He may make it back. I don't know. We'll keep it loose and fast.
Oh.
Depending if we get picked up for a 3rd season.
This is a resounding yes from me.
Yes.
I would tune in every week.
What, you didn't before when NXT UK was a thing?
I would
What do you mean?
I would continue to. It would.
Okay.
NXT UK would continue to be my favorite brand in WWE.
It's a yes from me.
Yes.
Because I think, if anything, Baron Corbin flourishes in roles like this.
That's
to be
my
honest.
thinking.
And anything to bring my beloved NXT UK.
In one way or another,
in one
bring
way
it
or
back.
another.
Even the Heritage Cup's gone with no arm over to.
It has, yeah.
Normal NXT. Yeah.
Normal NXT.
Normal
NXT.
Did you hear that? Normal NXT.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
NXT-ist.
original NXT.
NXT-ist.
My first pitch was the most obvious choice to me when you mentioned, Tom, that you wanted to do a 9 pitches for the draft. And I thought, who is the most obvious move in the draft that first springs to my mind? And in my mind, it was so clear that I was worried that one of you guys would have already taken the idea. So I actually asked you sneakily off camera if any of you mentioned this person, and you hadn't. So I've gone for it. I'm going for it.
What?
Oh.
In a Yorkshire accent. I think that Gunter is the most obvious person because what happened is, I basically thought Gunter's beaten loads of people on SmackDown by now in his really excellent IC title reign, which has been maybe the best thing in WWE currently.
Yeah.
So I was looking through the Raw roster on Wikipedia for people to potentially draft to SmackDown to face him, and I realized I'll just do it the other way around because there's too much choice on Raw. I'll just draft Gunther to SmackDown, and that's where he can. Gunther to Raw, and that's where he continues his reign. I know the drawback here is that you're taking away one of the best elements of the Blue brand over the past year or so, which is true, especially with Roman Reigns often absent. But I think maybe you could turn SmackDown into the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens show with a potential emphasis on tag team wrestling at the top of the card.
Oh, hello.
It's unlikely, but you've also got Rhea Ripley there, who looks like she's going to be a really strong, good women's champion. So I think the brand will be okay. You could also go in multiple directions with this upcoming US title match at Backlash, swapping whoever wins that belt or retains it, if it's Austin Theory, over to SmackDown in place of Gunther to keep everything balanced. Anyway, here is a list of people currently on Raw I would like to see feud with Gunther. Rollins, Balor, Cody, Lesnar, Riddle, Otis, Omos. I'm a big Omos sapien.
Yeah.
I would actually like to see Omos versus Gunther. Logan Paul. And finally, I think he should lose the belt to Chad Gable.
Yeah!
The words had barely come
There
out.
is
Did you know I was
something,
going
there's
to...
something in something somewhere.
Oh, no, I'm
I
sorry.
can tell you.
Oh, no.
But that's
crap.
a resounding already.
Right,
A
ruined
resounding
it.
yes from me.
Right,
You've not
ruined
ruined
it.
anything. You've not ruined anything,
Bloody hell.
Jack. All right?
All right.
Nothing's been ruined.
Sorry.
I'm just saying. That's bloody lovely.
Thank you.
It's tasty. It's a good old roast that you can dig into.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Skipton. Apparently that's where he's from. I don't know. It's not a real place, but...
Well,
It's
it
a
is
building
real.
society. It's not a real place.
It's a Tesco.
Claim you're from North Yorkshire, but it's actually very far west.
Well, it's in the West Riding, isn't it?
Oh, sorry.
It's
Right,
in the
okay.
West Riding. Come on now.
Tom, what do you
It's a
think?
yes from me. I mean, Gunther moving to Raw, I think is a nice choice as well. I would say I'd add a little some to that. A little spice. I'd have Chad Gable be his first challenger, and have Chad Gable be his last.
Oh, it's a journey.
So Chad loses, and then it's just like, yeah, I'm going to make it a big part of the show, but then it's just a case of Chad goes, all right, I've got to, I've got to get serious. I've got to come back. So next time I do this, you can even have Chad do a promo going, next time I face you, I'm having it.
Yes.
And then it might be 6 months before you get there.
And I imagine that first match, if produced correctly, would be an impressive enough performance from Chad Gable that people would get behind the idea of that happening.
Yeah, that's
for
it.
sure.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good
Wow,
one.
I can't believe he did that rolling German suplex on Braun at WrestleMania.
So good.
He's
I can't
Chaos
believe they didn't
Theory.
save that for like a big singles. It was amazing though. Still,
Yeah, it was.
but yeah. Anyway,
It's superb. It's superb. We like
He's
Chad.
great. Did you say Cody in that list of people as well?
did.
So
I
my
did say
brain
Cody
just
as
like
well.
fizzled out there. But yeah, that would be so good.
1 second there.
For 1 second.
Rollins, Balor, Cody,
Yes.
Lesnar, Riddle, Otis, Omos, Logan Paul, Chad Gable.
That's a good list
Gunter
of
and
people.
Omos.
Yeah, yeah.
Why not? Two big boys.
Yeah.
Just chopping his chopping
Yeah.
his shins.
Yeah. Gunther having to wrestle like a luchador to try and beat him.
I bet he could do it.
Oh, yes.
I bet he could do it.
Andrew, your second pitch, please.
Yeah, of course. So
The
my
difficult second album, or the Pinkerton. as it
Pinkerton,
may
my
be known.
favourite of the.
Oh, bloody course it is.
Oh,
man.
here
Oh,
comes
the
the bloody
Blue album is
shit.
just too good
You
and
just-
catchy.
It is so good, but Pinkerton's better. Shove that up your bums, everybody.
Pop that up your Pinkerton.
Leave your Weezer thoughts and
yeah, do.
opinions in the comment section down below.
I know Hash Pipe and Buddy Holly.
Oh, Tom,
You
they're
know more,
very-
Beverly Hills.
That's where I want to be.
I saw them live, and I feel like I'm a
Really?
fraud.
I saw them live.
Oh,
and they
did
were
you
very
enjoy
good.
them though?
They're all very good.
Very good live. aren't
They were great.
They covered Africa when I saw them by Toto.
Oh, I think they did that when I saw
Did
them
they
too,
do Enter
on the same
Sandman
tour.
as well?
Yeah, they did when I saw them. They did Paranoid Android as well. By
Oh, they didn't do
Radiohead.
Paranoid Android.
And it was
yeah, they are silly.
perfect.
They are silly boys.
It was
They
perfect.
are
It was
silly
so
boys.
good.
Sorry, right.
9 pitches for Weezer covers.
My second pitch actually concerns the tag team division. So the tag team division on the main roster is one that seems to have flourished in most recent times. Thrown together, tag teams have been surprising hits with the fans, I feel like, and stayed together for much longer than I think anyone could have initially anticipated either. For the most part, excluded NXT, I had to think about this. I was like, oh, it's not happened recently. But then I was like, okay, no, it's happened a few times on NXT at least, in most recent, from what I can remember. There seems to have been, at least from memory, much less tag team partner turns heel on tag team partner taking place on Raw and SmackDown. And I really enjoy that trope not being heavily relied on anymore, as it's given us a very exciting and refreshed tag team division. However, I think at this point in 2023, we've basically seen most of the teams prominently featured on both main roster brands duke it out on numerous occasions, whilst also feeling as though they've kind of hit the ceiling with what they can accomplish as a tag team, some of them at least anyway. So I propose a few little changes the draft could enforce to spice things up a little bit. First, let's perhaps do some maybe controversial, maybe not controversial draft choices. I think at this point, I feel like a lot of people maybe are on board with it or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. So the Street Profits, for all the talk of them not splitting up or neither of them turning heel on the other, why not split them up through the draft? Rather than have one be buried by the other in a feud that could potentially hurt Ford or Dawkins' momentum in the long run. It certainly feels as though WWE and us fans see a bright singles run in the future for Montez Ford, one of the standouts in the 2023 Men's Elimination Chamber match. I think many are surprised it hasn't actually happened already. And that's not to count Dawkins out either. He's really put in the work to prove he's not just the other guy within the tag team too. He's in tremendous shape. On Raw, he was pulling out some fantastic maneuvers, let me tell you that. Ferocity. The ferocity was on display. Another tag team that could be split through this method are Alpha Academy, Chad Gable and Otis. Perhaps in storyline over the next few weeks, we could see Gable finally bring Otis back away from the Maximum Male models, only to then have all this undone, heartbreakingly, as once the boys finally get back together, Chad Gable and Otis are broken away from each other. Right? And then we see Otis remain with Maximum Male models and Chad Gable either be drafted, to SmackDown or stay on Raw if Gunter is on one of the brands, because I also said a feud between Gable and Gunter for the IC Championship would be amazing. So Gable is sad about it. All of what's gone on, he's lost his best friend, so he's getting back to the wrestling. He's trying to take his mind off all this thing that's going on, and that brings him back into being like the wrestling machine that we sort of all know him for. Okay. But then to replace the void of these tag teams and to see some fresh tag team match shakeups, I'd love to see the Creed brothers called up to the main roster, maybe on the Raw brand. They've been unbelievable in NXT, already been NXT Tag Team Champions and Dusty Classic winners too. So I feel like the next thing for them to do is to go on and be on the main roster and surprise everybody with what they're capable of doing in the ring. They certainly surprised me when I watched them last week for NXT for the podcast. I was like, these are flipping good.
Yeah,
these
really
are genuinely like standouts of the show.
They're great talents.
They really are great talents. Yeah. Another team I think would work great on the main roster, and I believe also have been their names have been talked about within reports that Triple H has major plans for them on the main roster. Pretty Deadly.
Oh, yes,
I think
boy.
would be great on the main roster.
Yes,
too.
boy.
Yes, boy.
They
Yes,
are
boy.
fantastic.
They've got really good
have you
chemistry.
Met them in your UK?
Not had the
travels?
pleasure. No,
really?
I thought you might have worked on the same show.
Nah, they're more based down south.
Yes, boy.
Yes, boy.
As opposed to
They
the
are
Northern Circuit.
Southernly boys, aren't they?
Southernly boys.
Southernly boys. I think they'd be great. They've already got history there with the New Day. And I believe when the Brawling Brutes came to NXT as well, they had a match with them too. So there's still stuff there that could be had. And I think you've kind of got a dichotomy there as well. You've got the Creed brothers, wrestle boys. They are wrestling boys, wrestling focused boys. You've then got Pretty Deadly as well, who like the comedic stuff too, which I think would be a nice blend of styles to go up to the main roster and impress everybody. So break up some teams, but bring up some new, fresh teams, just to shake things up a wee bit.
It's a yes. I'll be honest, right? When you started talking about breaking up tag teams, I was like, it's going to be a no, it's going to be a no. But then each one you said had a good justification behind it. So I can't give it anything other
Thank you.
than a...
Oh.
Yes, boy.
Yeah. Whoa, Jesus.
It's a new bit. Yes, boy.
I just saw this done by
Febreze.
I just saw it done.
Come on, give us a yes, boy Febreze spray.
I don't know why it's in here, but no,
Come on.
It's
Yes,
a fresh boy.
Yes, boy.
He's got
Equipment.
you. He's got you with that. Careful, the vapors.
Oh, it smells like somebody has treated a wet armpit with Febreze, which I believe is what Febreze were going for. It's a yes from me as well.
No.
Yes, boy. My only concern would be what becomes of Otis, what becomes of Dawkins.
Maximum male models.
Make them, yeah.
I think Dawkins. Well, we say what becomes of Dawkins. I think Dawkins has a lot to prove himself. As I said, I think he's really sort of shaped up because there was a moment in time where everybody was like Montez Ford, and yeah, that does still feel like the case, but it feels less like the case now. Dawkins is in like phenomenal shape, and I think
He's stepped up.
He's really stepped it up a lot, and he's even, I think, in promos and in interviews before, he's like, I want to prove that I'm as good as well, So
Yeah. I mean, he's not. It's hard to be.
It
'cause
is.
Montez is really good.
He's so
but
charismatic.
he is definitely. He's closed the gap.
he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he certainly has. So I think they both flourish away from each other, at least, anyway. So yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, it's a yes from me though. I like the emphasis on tag teams.
Thank you.
Big fan.
Your second pitch, please. Oh.
Okay. Adam Pearce steps up to the podium. Next pick for Monday Night Raw, Elias. Our pick for SmackDown. Welcome back from an impending injury, from a long-standing injury, Ezekiel. To which backstage Elias goes, bugger. So, for the months that follow, it is the adventures of Elias just about making it in time for Raw. Like, literally, as he's heading out, putting his guitar, hello, I'm Elias. And then, and as his match is finishing, he overhears Michael Cole, and join us on SmackDown next. Oh, sorry, he joins Kevin Patrick, and join us on SmackDown this week as Ezekiel fights Gunter, and he goes, oh, bugger, and Elias runs to the back.
Yes.
5 minutes, I've got to go, gets on a plane, and literally arrives. I don't know why it takes him 5 days exactly, but arrives just in time
Sometimes-
for SmackDown.
Yeah.
He's got to do a photo shoot as Elias, and then an advert as Ezekiel, and then he gets to SmackDown just in time for his match. And this is his life back and forth. Essentially, Act 3 of Mrs. Doubtfire for 6 months for Elias / Ezekiel until Survivor Series, where we have brand warfare.
Oh no.
What?
So Elias is on the team for Raw, and Ezekiel's on the SmackDown team. But Ezekiel got hurt backstage.
Oh,
So where is he?
of course
Where
he
is
did.
Where is he?
Oh no.
Elias eventually gets into a fight with, I don't know, Bobby Lashley from SmackDown, and they end up fighting to the back. And as he fights to the back, here comes Ezekiel. He runs in, reaches for the hot tag. He runs wild. He's about to win the match, but then gets hit by a guitar by Elias.
What's happened here then?
They were different people
No,
all along.
No.
Different people all along, but both had really bad time planning.
Okay.
I can believe it. I can believe it.
We're both different people. We're just really bad at keeping time. Really bad timekeeping.
Keeping time.
It's a really good swerve.
It's a good swerve,
I wasn't
innit?
expecting that at all.
Truth be told, I had 2 other pitches on here that I wasn't feeling. The vibe was wrong. Vibe was off.
Okay.
So I just bounced that one out of my head. So allow that to be part of your decision.
It was delightful.
I'm really torn, like Natalie and Brulé, even though it's a cover, because apparently that's a cover. Torn.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I know.
No.
Buddy Holly.
Yeah, Buddy Holly did
Buddy
it.
Holly by Weezer.
By Weezer. I'm really torn because I think that on one hand, love the swerve, really fun. I don't know how they do it. Okay, I guess they are different people.
Different people. It's bad timekeeping.
On the other hand, I am a massive Ezekiel skeptic. I hate Ezekiel.
You hate Ezekiel?
I never found it funny. I liked one bit of it. And that was Kevin Owens' reaction.
That was the best
And him
bit.
going like, and Ezekiel going like, he's like, oh, I'm Kevin Owens dressed as like his dad or something. He was like, I'm Keith or whatever. And I remember Ezekiel going like, oh, hello, Keith. Ken. Nice to meet you. I like that bit. That was funny.
That was
where he
good.
just
I remember
accepted
that.
it. But after that all stopped, I thought it was bollocks because Ezekiel's character was just nice man without a beard.
Yeah.
And I didn't
Yeah.
like that.
But
so-
this surely adds a new lick to it if he's running back and
Yes.
forth
But
with bad
I hate Ezekiel
timekeeping.
so much. But I'm going to not give you a no. I'm going to give you a Bison Trooper middle Street Fighter.
Maybe boy.
Maybe boy.
Maybe boy.
Yeah.
I will give it because at first I was like, Tom's gonna do the thing, isn't he? Where he splits half and half. One half of Elias is Elias, and then the other half is a freshly shaven Ezekiel. And then what we do camera tricks, right? We do camera tricks this side when like the hard camera's on. We've got Ezekiel, and then
That's how they do the match.
side,
That's how they do the match graphic for Elias versus Ezekiel.
Yeah.
He can only wrestle facing one way.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Right.
But think about the
Like
camera.
that YouTuber Dream when he did his face reveal. Do you see that? The whole video.
Oh,
he's just
Dream,
stuck
yeah,
in
it
one-
is
just in one-
It's pretty creepy.
I think he's
Vince-
trying to show off his popping jawline, but
He
I don't know
does
what-
have a popping
He does,
jawline.
yeah, of course he does. But why not move around, bro?
But think about if you go to that Survivor Series match, because on one side he's going to be standing on the apron like
Yeah.
this. One side could be Ezekiel. The other side like this. One side could be Elias.
I feel like we're getting too.
I like it.
We need Ross here. We're getting too silly. We need an enforcer in this video.
Well, I would like to just also point out the fact that, Jack, when we did a pitches
I
video...
don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry,
and
Ross once
you weren't
pitched
here.
that George Miz gets turned into
Well,
chips.
yeah.
Sorry, do carry on.
Also, well, you see, I was sandwiched between, sexy. I was sandwiched between Tom and Ross for a pitches video recently about who should dethrone Roman Reigns. And again, Ross's was silly as well.
Were they silly as well?
Yeah,
Oh,
But it's
I'm
different
not
because
sure.
that's Ross being silly. I
should've-
think
no,
I'll get canned. For
No,
you
I
won't.
should
You
apologise to you boys because
Yes,
boys,
Yes,
because
boys.
I've failed to take into account that we've all got a bit of silliness in us, don't we?
I'm gonna give it I'll give it a bison as well.
Also, it's one full yes, basically.
You can't say no if you
No,
want. It's
no,
fine. I
It's
ain't.
fun, Tom.
I've got-
It's fun.
I got thick skin and a
It's
thick head.
It's fun. Right. My second pitch.
It's what we want to happen.
Is-
Sorry, did I miss it?
My second pitch is, I'm assuming I've put here that Adam Pearce will be the draft man. He'll be the one conducting the draft.
The world's worst supervillain.
But if
Oh, it's a bit chilly in here.
draft man, but if at all possible, I would like it to be Triple H instead for more gravitas when what happens eventually happens. But I don't think Triple H should be risking it. Spoilers, there's a fight, and I don't think Triple H should be risking his own physical. It should be Pierce probably, but if it could be Triple H, ideally it would be. Anyway, towards the end of the night, whichever one it is about to announce the final main draft pick. I assume for Raw, because Raw gets more people because it's 3 hours. Before he can announce it, though, he is viciously attacked from behind by a man in a balaclava.
We love a balaclava
we do.
here.
He beats Pierce or Triple H down and leaves them slumped over the draft podium before grabbing them and throwing them off the stage. The man then unmasks to reveal that it's... Have you got any... Do you want any guesses? Guessy-wessies?
Guessy Wessies. Romulus Ranulus.
No, it's not.
It's not Romulus Ranulus.
Oh, Reigns. No,
Yeah,
it's not. It's not.
no.
No.
Bron Breaker.
Oh, close. It's Grayson Waller.
Oh!
That's
I nearly
good.
said Grayson Waller.
And I then put, what are you doing?
Had it been Shawn Michaels doing the draft.
Oh, I thought you meant if Shawn had jumped Triple H.
Yeah.
Waller runs off, evading security. A few minutes later, as flagged by the announce team just before the main event of the night, whatever it is, Grayson Waller has gone live on Instagram with a video of himself running through the bowels of the arena and out into the car park. He's doing his Grayson Waller thing, talking about how he's made an impact and he'll be seeing us again very soon. This follows the theme of his actions of the past, a heel who'll do anything for attention and clout. He beat down Johnny Gargano during his farewell NXT speech and threatened Shawn Michaels in the build to stand and deliver for attention as well, and because he hates Shawn Michaels, before attacking a returning Gargano in front of his wife and child. At the time of recording, he's a very despicable, unscrupulous heel who does anything for attention. At the time of recording, though, Grayson Waller does have a title shot tonight, at the time, as we record this on a Tuesday, against Carmelo Hayes, but I think he's definitely going to lose that because it's Hayes' first big title defense and he's just become champion. I also think that Grayson's story in NXT after this title shot is pretty much done and he's ready for a move up to the main roster. He is easily good enough in the ring and a unique character who can have some very interesting main roster storylines in the age of social media because he loves to be an all attention seeky on social media. It's part of his heel gimmick. He does terrible things in the name of attention and I think that is tailor-made for a modern audience. So call up Grayson and have him beat up an authority figure to signify his arrival.
Wit woo.
Wit woo.
Well, he could beat up Triple H, couldn't he? Best mates with Shawn. That's what he could. That's who he could go for.
Yes, he could, but I'm just scared. But it's
Yeah, I'm
not.
just scared.
But in my perfect scenario here, I guess Triple H would survive it. He'd be fine.
Yeah,
You're right.
he'd be
Yeah,
fine.
go on. There's Triple H.
When,
Yeah, it's what
when
I
you
want to
said they were
happen.
slumped over the podium, all I could think about was Mr. Burns and Who Shot Mr. Burns.
yeah, pointing.
Slumps over the
Pointing at the-
sundial.
Yeah.
It's a yes from me. I think.
Oh, for the longest time, I really thought Marge shot Mr. Burns. You know.
Didn't we all?
Well, but even after the show, even after the episode.
What? Even after it had been definitively told
yeah,
that it was
because I
Maggie
thought
that did it.
Mr. Burns would have lied about that because he loves Marge and he would want to protect her.
Yeah.
But then they show when the gunshot rings out, Marge is elsewhere going, what? So it's not, it is Maggie. But
I think there were alternative endings.
yeah.
They kept everyone guessing.
But it should have been Marge.
9 pitches for Who Shot Mr. Burns.
Because he'd stole a sweet from her baby.
Yeah.
He took candy from
And
the
he
baby.
didn't remember Homer's
Shouldn't be
name.
eating sweet, should it?
Yeah.
At that age.
I can't solve it. Can you?
Give it a shot.
So good. Anyway,
Give it
so
a shot. It's a yes from me as well.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was nice. And like I said, it's in keeping with Grayson Waller's persona of just being a troublemaker.
oh yes,
Yeah.
like Ollie Murs.
Yeah, troublemaker.
Oh.
I think he's more likely to beat up Adam Pearce than Triple H. Though.
Yeah. Do you think?
I feel like if he beats up Triple H, then the following night at NXT would end with Waller eating a pedigree.
Getting comprehensively beaten by Triple H. Triple H, when he rolls up his sleeves, is ready to batter anyone. Like, he's got superpowers then. When he comes out to King of Kings and rolls up those shirt sleeves, he can beat up anyone he wants.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
big
Bow
thing
down.
would be what you do with Waller when he gets there, because that's a very impactful chapter 1.
It is.
He can't just then go in and just go into a bloody feud with Dexter Loomis. Like, it's got to be like, all right, then, you're here now, boy.
What
you
about-
and Cody one-on-one.
Because you've got Austin Theory, who used to do all the social media stuff as well.
They're quite similar boys.
They are, and I reckon they could be like clashes. Like Austin can be like, I dropped all that and look where I am now. I'm a champion.
They could do that.
Yeah.
He could have a feud with. I keep just thinking Chad Gable. You know, just want Chad Gable, the rest of everyone.
It all comes back to Chad Gable.
He could feud with Rollins, I reckon, if he started
Yeah.
off like that.
Yeah, I think Rollins is a good starting.
Because Rollins could be like, you're not clouty, I'm clouty.
Fashion off with Waller's all his Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
There we go.
Nice.
Andrew,
Yeah.
your third and final pitch, please.
My third and final pitch. It's all right, Jack.
A third one, always difficult, like a third album from Weezer.
Like the Green Album.
The Green album.
That was a divisive one for people.
Yeah.
Because there's some bangers
That's
on there.
Hashpipe, isn't it?
But but there's some less memorable songs on there. You know what I mean? It fell somewhere in
Look
the
at the
middle.
track list while you read out your.
Okay. So to bounce off my first pitch slightly, in building new stars, I'd like to apply that alongside the hottest storyline still continuing within WWE at the moment, and that's obviously in regard to the the bloodline. In regards to the bloodline. So there's been so many hints recently that Roman Reigns has been growing increasingly more tired of the escapades of his cousins, the Usos, laying more trust and responsibility on the shoulders of Solo Sikoa instead. Now, we know that Sikoa has played an instrumental role in ensuring that the undisputed WWE Universal Championship stays firmly in the grasp of the tribal chief. But what if that one defining factor were to be drafted separately from the rest of his family? So we keep Solo on Raw, whilst Roman and the Usos are moved exclusively to SmackDown, and that could make for some interesting storytelling in the Bloodline saga. As Roman's patience with Jimmy and Jay continues to wear thin, and his title defenses are less one-sided affairs with the absence of Solo, Sikoa could be carving his own path on Raw, tearing his way through the roster single-handedly, perhaps picking up a mid-card title, and now, quite possibly, the new World Heavyweight title, really solidifying his own dominance on the red brand. This could then, in turn, start causing conversations amongst those in the locker room. Well, if Solo can do it on his own without the help of his family, then who really is the head of the table after all? Roman becomes more paranoid seeing this all play out, the jealousy and doubt piling on top of him. Perhaps it's even revealed in a backstage segment between the tribal chief and Paul Heyman that this was never supposed to happen in the first place. Roman had always been adamant of keeping Solo by his side, under his thumb this whole time, because he knew the threat his enforcer could pose to him when left to his own devices. Roman plays coy, however, congratulating his cousin on his success, all whilst knowing that deep down, his cousin has nothing else to aim for but that very top spot. It's unspoken, but you can feel that tension between the two sides. You then allow for Solo to grow on his own accord. You build new stars, especially if you have Sikoa remain this dominant force, perhaps akin to Gunther at the moment as well, in which they have great matches on the regular with new challengers, and then both parties seem to emerge better for that interaction in the long run. Maybe Solo isn't the one to dethrone Reigns for the championship, but to dethrone him from his position at the head of the table. That's something I could see happening alongside his brothers in Jimmy and Jay. Roman could lose everything but his position, so maybe he's lost the titles at this point. He's got nothing left apart from being the head of the table. And we've also got, there's Solo Sikoa there, perhaps with a new World Heavyweight Championship in his grasp, and that's something that Roman wants. He can't fathom that he's not the top dog anymore. And then maybe we get a match down the line, the World Heavyweight Championship on the line against like the head of the table position on the line as well. Who's gonna emerge out on top, and then ultimately it's Sikoa that comes out on top.
I was gonna ask you, would you ever come out on top
as the head of the table?
Say it ain't so. We've missed that one. That was the big one.
Yeah, that's a very good one. Say it ain't Solo.
Say it ain't so.
Hey.
Where's Heyman during all this? Is he on SmackDown
I
with
think
the
he's
lads?
on SmackDown
Right.
with the lads, and that's why sort of Roman and Heyman are kind of conversing with each other like this should never happen. We knew this was going to happen like this whole time, but maybe after that, Paul Heyman tries to align himself with Solo, but then maybe Solo's like, nah.
Now, you know what you do instead? You have Heyman go to Raw with Solo.
Mm.
As if Roman goes, go with him, keep an eye on him.
That's a good idea.
And as time goes on, Paul's like, actually, this guy
Can't control him.
yeah. It's too powerful.
He's out of control.
Get
It's like Vegeta.
And he's big hair.
Yeah.
Bloody Margin Boo, this lad. It's Paul Heyman. Yeah. It's a yes from me because it's a solo push. It's a solo push,
Yes.
which I think is definitely on the cards. And I think if done right, you could potentially make a guy that could topple Roman Reigns. Not necessarily beat him for the title, but certainly bring him down.
And then
And
also,
Roman's the guy.
we get away from the Solo always getting the win for Roman sort of thing.
Yes.
Which is something that's happened quite frequently at this point.
I don't think it's as compelling as if Cody or Sammy had beaten Roman, but I don't think that's your fault. So it's a yes from me.
Thank you.
You can't change what's happened in the past.
It's true. It's
So
true.
it's a yes from me.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Or
work.
even Drew in Wales. That would have been
That would have been
great as well.
pretty good.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
not gonna lie.
Actually, that was Solo's debut, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was very exciting. It was very exciting. We all screamed.
Lovely day.
We did. That was one of the screams. Yeah.
Oh, you were both there.
Yeah.
We sat next to each other, having a lovely time, weren't we?
Yeah, we're just shouting, "You bastard! You
Oh, how was
bastard!"
that?
Lost me
How
for-
was that Gunther Sheamus match live?
Unreal.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
You, you know when you hear the chop, like when you're in an arena, when you're watching it on TV and you're like, oh, you can hear the chops, but you're like, well, it's clear must be like mics around or something like that to make it sound louder. No, oh my god, it's like it's in your ear, and right next to you.
Piercing.
It was piercing.
Piercing.
Earsing.
I got what Tom meant when he said piercing. But you've decided to go in a more avant-garde direction there with ear-sing.
I'm going in my Yoko Ono face.
fair enough.
You know?
Tom, your next pitch, please.
The one thing these pitches never do is go avant-garde.
Oh no.
Okay, my third and final pitch for the benefit of the Midnight Society. Right, the draft concludes. However, one member of the WWE roster is without a home, and that would be Veer Mahan.
Okay.
Jinder offers Veer a place on his team in NXT, but he refuses a pity draft. He says, I've got a better idea. If I can't come on Raw, if I can't come on SmackDown, if I can't come on NXT,
Where's he going?
I'm going to come everywhere else.
Oh my god.
Cameras follow Veer Mahan as he puts all his worldly possessions in a cloth on a stick like the littlest hobo. And heads out to seek his wrestling fortune. He walks from Orlando to Jacksonville, where AEW is hosting Dynamite. Interrupts a promo by MJF with a boot to the face. Wardlow, the TNT champion, runs to the ring to get the invader out. He too gets a boot to the face. Veer stacks Wardlow on MJF, pins them both, counts his own 3, grabs the AEW World title and the TNT title, and leaves through the crowd, continuing his walk, swapping it to a swim when he reaches the Gulf of Mexico. He swims all the way to Mexico, shakes himself off like a lovely dog, and walks into Estadio Caliente.
Oh, yeah.
Where a AAA show is underway. Veer walks through the crowd and enters the ring, and he's met by AAA mega champion Vikingo, who gets a boot to the face. Veer pins himself, counts his own cover, grabs the AAA mega championship, and leaves through the crowd. On his way out, he bumped into Nueva Generación Dinamita, the World Trios champions.
Yeah, them.
They get one gravity-defying collective boot to the face.
Okay.
He stacks and pins them, leaves with their belts. Veer then marches on through Middle America. He storms a GCW event where Masha Slamovich is the GCW World Champion. He gets a boot to the face. Pinned, takes the title. He interrupts an MLW Underground taping so he can boot Alexander Hammerstone in the face.
Is that who's still the champion?
I think so. And take the MLW World title. On his way up the ramp.
Far too, but that might be ages
Oh,
ago.
it may be.
He
has a belt. On the way up the ramp, he hits Akira with a boot to the face to take the middleweight title for good measure.
He's not middleweight.
Yeah, I know, right? He goes to the home of
That's too far.
He goes to the home of PWG World Champion Daniel Garcia, and after a boot to the door, he gives him a boot to the face.
Okay.
Takes his belt after the 3 count, declares himself the PWG champion and the winner of the next 5 years of the Battle of Los Angeles.
I need to just.
We're not
tell
done.
You, I know, but sorry. I need to tell you my thought process. Andrew,
Please do.
Yeah.
Tom has lured me into a false sense of security with pitches before.
Yeah.
I'm now expecting a twist, and I'm not sure there's going to be one.
Bruce Hart.
Oh my God.
Bruce Hart.
Tom, please. No, wait. No, was it? All right. Okay. Right.
Right, where was I?
Daniel Garcia.
He's been
That's
booted in
boot
the face.
He wraps his boot in barbed wire. Gate crashes an XPW event.
Yes.
Does a barbed wire boot to the face of Masada, pins him, and takes the
Where are all
XPW
these
World
belts
Champion.
being kept on his person.
He's just carrying them around his body, some in his little cloth bag. From there, Mahan heads north, Canada, where he bursts into the impact zone. What's he doing here, Maggle? To an unstoppable wrecking ball of beard. Steve Macklin, world champion, boot to the face, pin, thank you. Trey Miguel, X-Division champion, boot to the face,
yeah.
pin, thank you. Joe Hendry, digital media champion.
Not him.
Yep, say his name and boot to the face appears.
Not Joe.
Wins the
Say
championship.
his name and here comes Veer.
I believe he is coming. Bullet Club World Tag Team Champions, boots to the face club, more like. Diana Perrazzo, Knockouts champion, knock her out with a boot to the face.
Okay.
Veer throws them all in the ring, climbs on top of them all like a mountain of people, counts 3, and takes all their titles as his own. Veer leaps into the cold, unforgiving water of Canada and swims all the way to Japan, where we'll be saying sayonara to Sonada, IWGP World Champion, boot to the face. Tama Tonga's open title reign is closed by a boot to the face. Zack Sabre Jr. offers the rampaging Veer some calming words, but he gets a Tesco meal deal of 1 boot, 1 face, and a bag of crisps. Before having his NJPW TV title taken off him. Yeah. Is Noah safe? Noah way! Jake Lee! Boot to the face. New GHC champ is Veer Mahan. Is Big Japan safe? Big yikes!
Japan.
No! Yuji Okabayashi, the world's strong heavyweight champion, gets a boot to the face, gets relieved of his title. Veer commandeers a rowing boat, powers across the oceans all the way to Europe, where every champion in Dub X Dub in Germany, every belt holder in Progress, Nordic Elite Wrestling, ICW, Rev Pro, OTT, North, Rise, and Attack Pro falls to a combo of Veer Mahan and boots to faces in that order. Veer fights back from Europe to his humble abode in Florida.
Right, here we go.
Hundreds
Here we go.
and hundreds of wrestling championships over his shoulder and around his person. Veer was told he wasn't allowed to come on Raw, he wasn't allowed to come on SmackDown or come on NXT. So he decided to come everywhere else. And as the sun set on a grateful wrestling universe, Veer shed a tear, knowing that he'd bet on himself, and now there was nowhere left for him to come.
Okay.
Veer felt his body start to tingle. He noticed his hands started glowing as he very gradually became a beam of light. His life purpose had been filled. He'd come everywhere. And there was one place left to come, and that was home.
Oh, you
Wow.
are a storyteller.
There's something about Bruce Hart. The draft.
Yeah, I was going to say, you'd think someone would have drafted him. He's really good.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but now he just went and came everywhere else.
I mean, obviously, it's a no from me.
Fair.
But I'm
A
worried about
well-deserved
I'm
no.
worried about being a killjoy here. Andrew?
It's a yes from me.
Right.
That was some of the from the first word, Tom, till the final sentence you said there. You had me hooked like that.
I had you coming.
There was one place he had to come and home, and that's
That
what
was
sold
really-
me.
that
That's
was
what
really good,
sold me on the whole entire. That was
a nice ending.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Is the
it's not
implication
about
that
the
he's
twist.
from space?
Well, we'll never know. We just
Okay.
know that he turned into a beam of light and disappeared.
Like Poochie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
back to
He
his
died
home.
on the way back to his own planet.
I must go now. Wow.
Well, thank you, everybody.
I know. Thank you.
I feel like
even though I
need
gave
a
it
cigarette
a no.
after that. Jesus.
My last one is a serious one, so I'm fuming. Really, just what a serious one. Made a
This
few.
happened to me, right? So Ross had gone and done a really wonderful, big, elaborate,
Silly boy
pitch.
was,
this
yeah.
the
but it was
Cody
still good.
Otis one?
Yeah, where they merged
together.
together to create Codis or
Right,
something
right.
like that. And then I had a serious one, and then it was outshined again by one of Tom's Tom's future.
Oh, WrestleMania
It feels-
97.
yeah.
It feels sad, doesn't it? Because you put effort into these, like you really think about the consequences.
But that had a lot of effort put into it, I believe, as well.
A lot of time spent on
probably did
Cage
that.
Match for that one. So thank you to
Yeah.
Alan Cage Match for all your handy
Thank you, Alan.
statistics.
Al.
Is there any point? Yeah, okay. So
Yes, of course there is.
Let's move Charlotte Flair on over to Raw. It's the move that makes the most sense. I'm Jack from Cultaholic, and here are 3 reasons Charlotte Flair should move to Raw. I've done a voiceover script for some reason.
Great.
Number 1, Rhea Ripley is now the SmackDown Women's Champion, and despite Charlotte's whole "you got me, kid" thing after their WrestleMania match, I have limited interest in seeing any more of their feud. They've had several matches already over the years, and I don't really care. Number 2, one person on Raw at the minute is the Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair. She's beaten Sasha Banks at WrestleMania, she's beaten Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, and she's also beaten Bayley in wrestling matches, not at WrestleMania. But what about Charlotte Flair? Can Bianca catch them all? It writes itself.
The Elite Four.
The Elite
The
Four.
4 horsewomen.
Yes. I think she should beat Charlotte. Not as soon as Charlotte gets on Raw, though. They should build to it. Well, probably at Mania. Number 3, I don't care too much about Trish Stratus's heel run in this impending match. It's fine, I guess. But the match I really want to see Becky have, and maybe that we all want to see, is Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. Because behind Rhea versus Bianca, it is maybe the second biggest match the women's division could put on right now. And with Charlotte on Raw, it becomes a big possibility. Now, given...
It becomes good.
Yeah. Now, given the stuff that reportedly went down between them during the belt exchange segment and the backstage argument that apparently ensued, I just can't see them on the same brand at any point in the near future. However, that is also the very reason I want to see them have that match, because think of the bad blood in your house.
Didn't they sort of do that anyway a few years ago?
Oh no, what?
With the Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch thing, where they genuinely had a big fallout.
Oh.
And they were having a match, and then afterwards Becky did a promo where she was crying because she was like, "That's she used to be my friend, and we're not friends anymore."
Yes,
Oh,
I do
yeah.
remember that.
Survivor Series, I want to say.
Oh, damn! They've had that match already.
Run it back.
can
It's
run it
fine.
back.
Yeah, we can run it
No.
back.
Think of the first 2 points I said, the Bianca match and the fact that Rhea's now on SmackDown and Charlotte can move to Raw. They had that match. They had it.
did.
Because the intrigue going in was, are they going to shoot on each other? Oh, damn.
But you know what? It is such a good idea that WWE have already done it.
Yeah.
And you had that. But that's good though. That's a good. Means it's a good idea. They're more likely to do that than.
And a good
bloody-
idea is a good idea forever.
Yes.
Then now forever. You know what they say?
It was a good idea then. It's a good idea now. It's a yes from me.
I'm so gutted,
now
lads.
together
Then-
forever.
yeah.
No, it doesn't matter, boys.
It does.
Fine now, forever
It's a yes
together.
from me, Jack.
Yes,
because-
boy. Give me the spray.
No.
Give me the
Give me the spray. Yes,
It's,
boy.
oh, here we go.
Here, look.
Wait,
Go on.
no.
Go on. Give us a big yes, boy. Come on. Yes, boy.
Yes, boy.
Give us a nice confident look down the camera. There it is.
Thank you for watching, everyone.
It's a yes from me
I've-
because Bianca
Thanks,
and
guys.
Charlotte would be great together.
Yeah, I'd
I think.
like that. I think Bianca and Charlotte. I think the Bianca
It's all in my hand.
collecting all the 4 horsewomen is a good shout.
Yeah, it would make I'm trying to think of a Weezer thing. The greatest man that ever lived. I was born to give and give and give.
Becky Lynch is the greatest man that ever.
Right.
lived.
Yeah.
There we go. Radioactive. Now, it's the end of the video now, guys.
Is it?
But we've got one more surprise for you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Joel.
That's what it felt
It did sound like I was going to... No.
Ladies and gentlemen,
But
Mr.
before
Conway
we
Twitty.
go...
Before we go, we've got one more surprise.
Buddy Holly's
for you all.
Do you recognise this voice? Here, Jack, get that pillar off my face. That's right.
What's from? What? Hang on. What's this?
Stars in their eyes. Do
Oh.
you recognise this voice?
Oh, but then... what was
Hello,
that?
Jack. It's me. I remember you. It's your old mate from school, Benny Clifton.
Benny's back.
Big Cliffy. Yeah.
What's going on?
This is the greatest 9 pictures. 9 pictures for a 9 pictures video.
All right, Jack.
Thank you very much for watching the video, everybody. It is the end of the video, and it is. I've been Jack.
However,
No, this has been Andrew and Tom, and leave your thoughts and opinions in that old comment section down below. And I'll see you soon. I don't know how to do an outro anymore. I don't know what's happened. Bye, everyone.
Jack, come home.
Bye.